This dude right here, seriously ordering every drink. I just want one. It's hot outside. Want my drink. Perfect, thank you. Hey guys, what's up? Sam Photographer here, and I know what you might be thinking, back at it with the car again. No, actually, I was supposed to do this one inside my house, but it was awkwardly too stupid quiet up in there. I didn't want to be like, hey guys, how's it going? And my mom be like, who the are you talking to? And then she has a heart attack, and then my dad has a heart attack, and then my brother has a heart attack, and I live. So I just decided to bring it to the car, crank out this video real smooth, and then we're just good at that. We're just solid, you know? So I wanted to do a new segment on this channel as well called Top 5. And I know that's a really popular YouTube category, Top 5. Like superheroes, Top 5 death scenes, Top 5 worst comedians. The list goes on and on. So I thought it could also be applied really well with photography. With this particular one, I'm gonna do top 5 best questions. And this isn't just like a one-time thing, video of questions. They're just questions that I thought of when I was going through the trials of being a beginning photographer, and either me having to learn it on my own or through some other way. And if I didn't answer your question in this video, just leave it in the comment section below. That way I know which questions to attack for the next time I do one of these. Question number 1. I feel like I'm Cash Cab right now or something. Dang, I super missed that show. Anyway, question number 1. As a beginning photographer, what's the minimal amount of equipment I need to start in photography? So the minimal equipment that you need will honestly probably come in the box that you bought your camera in. Usually with beginning DSLRs, they come with their own kit lens. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan of kit lenses, but for beginners, they're great. Eventually, you're gonna wanna get a nifty 50, a 50mm, either a 50mm 1.8, even 50mm 1.4s go for pretty cheap nowadays. And when I say pretty cheap, I'm talking photography pretty cheap, not real world pretty cheap. For example, like a Canon 50mm 1.4 will run you about $300, $350, but you can find them really cheap online, like either Craigslist or eBay, whatever have you. You can find it for cheaper online. So that is the bare essentials of what you'll need as far as equipment goes. Anything outside of that is just gonna be kind of more of an accessory or a secondary item. So break it down one more time. Body, lens, 50mm. Oh girl, looking at me, mermaid, you better quit. Question number 2, how do I get noticed, or how do I build an audience? A lot of that comes from networking, and honestly the easiest way to do that nowadays is online. You can do that through Facebook, you can do it through Instagram, you know, all the main social networking sites you can do it through. If you're gonna go through Facebook, if you do a photo shoot, or if you post something you think is really interesting that you want people to notice, just start blasting it online. People will check it out. They may not comment on it, they may not, you know, this and that with it, but they're at least gonna look at it, and if they're interested, they're gonna try to find out where they can see more. So immediately at your fingertips, social networking using your smartphone is the way to go. Other routes too, see if there's any art festivals coming around or any art competitions. Like type in on Google your city and photography contest, or your city and photography galleries, or whatever. Something will pop up. There is a really cool art organization called RAW. It's exactly how it sounds, R-A-W, rawartist.org. Check them out. What they are is an organization that is nationwide to the US, and I think they expand out internationally as well. They go to cities across the US and they find local underground talent pertaining to that city, and they throw them under one roof into a huge art showcase. So that might be something that you want to look into. I've done it before and it was really awesome. I got to meet a lot of fantastic artists, not even just photographers, but painters, models, even foodies were there, people who have food trucks. Everything in there was completely artistic in its own way, and I thought that was really cool. You can do it through that way, you can do it through showcases, you can do it through contests. There's also another site that's kind of cool, is called Mayhem, and that's sort of like, in a way, Facebook for people in the industry. So that's where you can find models in your area, photographers in your area, makeup artists, wardrobe, hair stylist, you name it. Make a profile, punch in your city, see who's around you, and start networking that way. Just so you guys know, I will be covering these questions in a standalone video. I'm trying to jam-pack my answers now so I can at least get your guys' feet wet with these answers, and then I can post a video in detail later. So yeah, so just to recap, social media, contests, showcases, even just word of mouth, the old classic word of mouth. Question number 3, is Photoshop really the best software, or can I use something else? In my opinion, Photoshop is the only software you should use, only because it is a professional grade and professionally recognized in the industry as the software to use because of all of its advanced settings and features that you can do with the photograph. You can literally do anything on Photoshop. Whatever pops into your mind is possible in Photoshop. Every professional that does post-production, I can almost guarantee uses Photoshop. It is an amazing tool to have, but it is not the only thing out there. It is just, for me, 10 out of 10 what's recommended, but here are some other softwares that you could use. For example, such as Photoshop Elements. Now, Photoshop Elements is really awesome because it's sort of like the beginner's Photoshop with advanced tools that you can use, and it's going to be cheaper. So yes, Photoshop Elements is a great substitute. Another awesome substitute would be Paint Shop Pro. Now, Paint Shop Pro is probably going to be the best one for your dollar as far as just going to the store and buying a software. When I was starting out in photography, I had Paint Shop Pro, and it was a really awesome tool. It introduced me to post-production with photography. Using Paint Shop Pro helped me understand Photoshop a lot easier. Now for me, I got lucky because they taught Photoshop in my high school, and I took the class and excelled in it, and that also produced my love for photography that much more. But Paint Shop Pro is definitely one if you're on a budget but you still want a quality software that you can use. Totally recommend Paint Shop Pro. It's really cool. Really cool tool. Really cool tool for y'all. Oh, you're really cool tool for y'all. Another one would be Picasa. Now, Picasa is totally free. You just go online and just download it, or you do it right there on the website. I forget how Picasa works. I personally have not used this. I said this. I personally have not used Picasa. I've seen on YouTube that people use Picasa all the time. How I understand Picasa is it's just a really quick, just retouching program. It's not meant to be used like Photoshop. It's not meant to be used even like Elements or Paint Shop, like how you would use a photo editing software for your smartphone. Except it's got a little more bells and whistles because it takes inspiration from Photoshop and from all these other editing softwares. I've never heard any bad things about it. It's free, so you don't have to spend any money using it, which is totally awesome. But if you do plan on pursuing photography a little more as a hobbyist, or even thinking about making it a profession, you're gonna want to get something better. And Picasa will only take you so far, but for the quick edits, for just something that you just need to tweak, Picasa's great, and it's free.
Another one
would be Lightroom. Now, Lightroom is fantastic. Of course, it's another Adobe program, such as Elements and Photoshop. Lightroom is really great as an organizing tool, especially for large photos or mass amount of photos. Lightroom is amazing for that. You can also edit your photos too. It does take bits and pieces of Photoshop and does try to make it almost like a one-stop shop. And Lightroom is amazing for that. You can also shoot tethered if you're using Lightroom, which is totally badass. And if you don't know what tethered shooting is, it's pretty much, in simple terms, live photographs going from your DSLR to your laptop instantaneously. Adobe Creative Cloud has changed. So now, rather than spending $500, $600 on Photoshop and maybe a little less than that on Lightroom, you're now only spending $10 a month and you get Photoshop, the latest version, and Lightroom, the latest version, which is a total deal in my opinion. So with that being said, it's almost a no-brainer that you would pick the best of the best programs, because you're getting it for 20 bucks a month, or I'm sorry, for 10 bucks a month. So yes, there are other programs that you can use. However, I would really only recommend Photoshop and Lightroom together. And you can get that for $10 a month with the Adobe Creative Cloud. Just type that in Google and you'll find it, because it's Google and Google finds everything. Everything. Question number 4, is there a preferred brand to start with when you're starting out? And the answer to that is no. However, the two biggest brands of cameras when people are starting out is either honestly going to be Nikon or Canon. My very first DSLR came from Nikon, and it was the Nikon D80. And back then, that camera was the bee's knees. It had like a whopping 10 megapixels, which was back then, holy crap, a bunch. But that's where I got my start, and I had that camera for a few years, and then eventually I went to the dark side and moved to Canon. So no, there isn't a preferred brand. There isn't one that is better than the other. It's just all preference. Me personally, I went Nikon because a bunch of my friends shot Nikon, so it only made sense for me to get something that all my friends were shooting, and also if I had any questions, they could help me out. But if you want to start Canon, by all means start Canon, because I'm shooting Canon now. You can even go outside the box and go with the Sony, or maybe go with the Pentax, something that isn't in the immediate mainstream of photography, which would be either Canon or Nikon. Then you'll figure out years down the line what's going to be your upgrade, because this camera is strictly for you to play with and learn, and not to make $1 million with.
You suck!
Hey guys, how's it going? So let me kind of explain what's going on right now. While I was editing this video tonight, I realized that I did not record question 5 in my car. I thought I did, but I didn't. It's super frustrating, but I'm going to have to re-record my answer right now. So thank you for your patience. Thanks for making it to the 5th question of this video. It's pretty late in my house right now, so that's why I'm trying to keep my voice down. I apologize for the lack of enthusiasm or for the lack of volume in my voice right now, because it's sleepy time. And again, I'm sorry for the distracting background I have right now. I got wrapping paper over here, I got a light over there, I got a Giants blanket over there, which I'm not sorry about. Go Giants. Question number 5. The question that you guys have been so patient to go from 1 to 5 to see. What are a few good resources for photographers? The biggest resource that anyone is going to have at hand, I believe, is going to be Google. You can Google anything from tutorials to articles, what your favorite photographer has been doing, if they've been doing any behind the scenes work that you can view, or if they blog or vlog a lot. So you'll be able to tune in on what they're doing and pick and just pick bits and pieces and apply it to your own photography or your own post-production or whatever resource that you're looking for. Another great resource is obviously going to be YouTube. Hopefully you guys are using me as a resource for your photography. They cover everything from tutorials, they cover everything from Photoshop tutorials, printing tutorials. You can find anything on YouTube just as you can with Google, mainly because Google bought YouTube. So it just makes sense that they both are equally effective when it comes to being a resource. There's also tutorials for purchase that maybe one of your favorite photographers might offer for you guys to buy. They don't leave out any information. They give you all the details from point A to point Z and leaving nothing untalked about. You pretty much get their brain for like 50 bucks, 100 bucks. Books and magazines are also a great resource. And personally, when I go to look for photography books or photography magazines, I'm going to Barnes & Noble and I'm rating the crap out of Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble has a great selection of photography magazines and Photoshop magazines. The ones that I honestly kind of enjoy a lot are the ones that come from the UK. For whatever reason, the magazines that come from the UK in particular have really awesome tutorials and really advanced tutorials that they take you step by step. And majority of these magazines are going to have like a take-home DVD that takes you step by step on how to do these particular tutorials. Great selection on books too. There's tons and tons and tons of books alone, stepping away from the magazines at Barnes & Noble, that are very educational for photography. Shadowing If you have friends that are photographers and they are more advanced than you, or you are really impressed by their work and you sort of want to see their workflow, hit them up and just be like on Facebook or something like, hey, do you mind if I assist you on your photo shoot, blah, blah, blah. No photographer is gonna deny help, especially free help. So go ahead and shadow them, see how they shoot, see how they speak to their models. And if they're cool with it, they might even let you sit in on their Photoshop, their editing, their post-production, just so you can see how a more advanced photographer works. Workshops. Now workshops can be kind of expensive, but I promise you they are worth it. There's workshops constantly going. All you have to do is just type in your city in Google and type in photography workshop. I guarantee you will land a hit somewhere. They can get a little expensive. I've known workshops to range anywhere from 75 bucks, maybe even $200. Then again, it's just like school, but it's like a more slammed session of school. So with workshops, you're getting hands-on education, hands-on practice with the professional in the same room with you. Sometimes the workshops are a few hours, sometimes they're a full day. They can even stretch to 3 or 4 days, depending on the type of workshop and what they want to cover as a photographer teaching beginning and intermediate photographers. So with webinars, so pretty much what a webinar is, kind of like a fly on the wall type of class, where it's being live streamed from classroom to your laptop. A good chunk of them are free, and some of them you do have to pay for. The only website I honestly recommend, because they have excellent photographers that teach all the time, is createlive.com. It's the website that's been started by Chase Jarvis. It's just full on photography. They beat you in the face with photography, and they do photography, they do post-production, they do interviews, you know, you can find anything on that website. It's a great source of education. Those are the resources that I'm giving you guys. Anything that I've said as far as a link goes, I'll put it down in the description below too, so you can just easily click it. And thank you guys so much for making it to the end of the video. I didn't mean for the video to be this long, but then again, I didn't want to give crappy answers or shortened answers for the sake of time. So not all my videos will be 20 minutes long. I apologize. And as always, catch me on the tube, catch me on the gram, catch me on the book, so you know where to look. I am Sam the Photographer, and I will see you guys later. Peace.